What follows light and shadow is silence. That silence breaks. I am summoning you as a new age begins. I see sapient life turn to each other. They remember how to look to the stars. They remember curiosity. They remember how to thrive. But they have forgotten. They forgot we were here long before the Traveler. That they need us. But they are fated to remember. I will remind them.
I'm sure you will. But not through me. Find someone else. My will is my own.
I think it's safe to say this is what's disrupting our beacons. I've seen primitive trains like this in old ruins. Never liked the look of them. These readings have a bearing. Gravimetric distortions leading out past orbit. Like footprints. Like a trail we're meant to follow. Guardian, I'm sending coordinates your way. It appears we have an invitation. Guardian, welcome to Kepler, as the Vanguard Archive calls it. The gravimetric distortions we tracked from the EDZ are tangled in an excess of dark matter. In our records, this planetoid was confirmed to be unoccupied and inert. But these readings indicate a singularity. Something's keeping this planetoid stable and our matter intact, but... Guardian, there's a black hole here on Kepler. This is dangerous. If at any point this singularity destabilizes, it could swallow us and take the entire Sol system with it. We need to find whoever sent our invitation. They need our help. Guardian, I can see you've got Elixni hostiles incoming. I'm picking up what I think is a distress signal. I've been able to isolate a radio signal through the telemetry. It has some primitive decryption on it. Should only take me a moment. Watch your head. I've never seen Elixni move like this. Mind their vertical, Guardian.
Lodi transmitting. Strange matter detected. Singularity opening near local HI and NHI population.
I can't tell when this Mayday was sent. Whoever made it understands the danger this place is in. But this signal's too weak to have reached us on Earth. This isn't our invitation.
Ikora, it looks like we've got a blockade up ahead.
A singularity, a distress call, and now another ancient train. But how do they all connect? More importantly, how can we help? The status of the singularity will worsen with time. We can't do anything about that right this moment. But discovering a locking mechanism this complex and a radio transmission that sounds human means we could be on the precipice of encountering another pocket of civilization. By my triage, the most effective thing we can do right now is find the source of the distress signal. The trail we're following leads past the train, then scatters. We'll need to get through to find who called for help. The mechanism here appears to be missing some pieces. I've tracked materials nearby that closely match the frequency of the device. Find them, Guardian.
Lodi transmitting. Status moonsick. Adrift. Odysseus protocol active.
Odysseus protocol. We've heard that before. Wait, there's a backlog. Keep moving, Guardian. I'm going to see if these transmissions can give us any more information. Dark matter spike in your vicinity. Could be one of the gravimetric distortions Drifter was talking about. Guardian, you all right? Your vitals stabilized. Must be a fluke.
Well, this sure is new. All your vitals appear to be in order, but your molecules are moving unbelievably fast.
Guardian, this energy pattern is distinct from your expected paracausal signature. It matches the dark matter readings from when we landed. It appears you've managed to somehow fuse with dark matter. invite us to a black hole. It seems whoever sent our invitation values consistency and catastrophic interference.
About that. I got info, but you're not gonna like it.
Try me.
The gravimetric distortions, the dark matter, the weird train, an invitation? There's only one group of jokers I know who get up to those kinds of theatrics. The 9.
Well, that certainly is a theory. Although I would expect to have already heard from the emissary if that was the case. I'm going to rerun the telemetry to see if I can find another radio transmission. Get us some answers.
Achieved precarious stabilization, but still request evacuation due to hostile NHI. If we can't close the singularity, we're pulling everyone in with us. Anyone? You out there?
Odd. The timestamp on this transmission doesn't make sense. It comes after the Mayday, but the timestamp says it was recorded many months before. Either someone is intentionally trying to scramble these transmissions, or the singularity is causing more problems than we thought. the same Elixni combatants from earlier. They are persistent. Stay vigilant and don't let them come back again.
I recognize those symbols. This is the House of Exile. encountered these Elixni was on Luna. They're called the Exiles because each of them were exiled from their original house. That's the last of them. And we've got what we need. Let's head back to the train and see if we can't get past that blockade.
No more transmissions on the backlog, and the timestamps are all off. Keep heading for the train. Maybe we can triangulate a location. Suppose you're right, Drifter, and we are dealing with the Nine. You have the most experience with them. What did you observe in your interactions?
Rumor has it the Nine are extra-dimensional. Caught in the gravity of Sol's heaviest hitters. You know, planets, moons, stuff like that. There are aliens, and there are aliens. And these guys are aliens. They don't live in this dimension, which means they can mess with you.
You trespass the domain of the once exile, chosen of the Conqueror. I am Archon Prime, sovereign of this orbit, speaker of the voice invisible.
That Elixni wasn't an Archon. I wonder what that was all about.
Destruction. One exile falls, and three more rise.
Hold on. That same voice, this Archon's voice, is coming from another Elixni. I'm not sure what's going on.
Exiles! I prophesy the deathless arrival. Creatures cradled and kissed by the infinite curse of the great machine.
Deathless? That sounds like you, derogatorily. That voice is coming from another Elixir. One exile to another. The witness could possess, but that required a civilization's worth of darkness. Could something have drawn them here? Maybe the high concentration of dark matter is boosting this Archon connection to darkness.
Darkness is about connection of memory, but it doesn't work like that. And dark matter, in spite of the name, has nothing to do with darkness.
So this is something else entirely. Huh. One of the Archon's lackeys dropped something.
Ophiuchus's energy readings are spiking. This is a container of dark matter, the same connected to the Singularity. Don't let that go.
Hold it. Who do you work for, and what's your business here?
Telemetry originates at this location, but the signal is weak.
What are you doing here?
We're Guardians, from Earth's Vanguard. Circumstances suggest we were invited, but we don't know who sent the invitation.
Earth?
Have you been here a while?
I have journal entries tallying 4 weeks, but my 5 o'clock shadow says a day. Something's wrong with time. It's my job to investigate. You picked up something that's special to the people here. Use it. I'll see you on the other side. We can talk there. You can, tell me all about Earth.
That's the man who sent the distress signal. But he didn't seem in distress.
Something's wrong with time.
I'm curious as to how our contact intends to fix it. But his observations seem to be correct.
And we just got here. There's probably a whole mess of time nonsense just around the corner.
Agreed. This train's temporal presence is concerning.
That's the least of our worries. The real head-scratcher is our new friend seeing the people here.
Ikora did say she suspected sentient life.
Sorry for all that earlier. My name's Lodi. My introductions aren't usually that rude. Come on, let me show you around. Your companion gave me a debrief about your mission before she insisted on meeting the scientists here.
Scientists?
Oh yeah, the Ionians are brilliant. They've been great hosts since I showed up here a few weeks back.
Objects from a different time were sent to us, like we were called or invited. Did you get one too?
Of sorts. I got a call of my own. I hope your ride was smoother than mine. Are you headed back to Earth after?
Are you asking for a ride?
It's just conversation. Appreciate the offer. I'm staying with the locals for a while. Time distortions all over this place. The Elixni make it hard to traverse further out. But fascinating, aren't they? You know, the language structure is similar to Finnish. Keep an eye out for the House of Exiles. They didn't like me getting close with my recorder. If you're here to sort out the time anomaly, it sounds like we're on the same side. I'll help you look into your calling card. You help the locals with some of the weightier tasks. You seem like you can handle yourself. First in a few words, I can appreciate that.
These Ionians were able to temporarily stabilize the singularity. They prevented their planet from splitting until someone could help. I'm as surprised as you they've eluded us for so long, but this place is shrouded in dark matter. It could have cloaked the presence of sentient life from the outside. Ghost, did you find the source of the distress signal?
We've made contact with Lodi, here in the settlement. He's offered to help us look into our invitation, if we help the people here. He seems trustworthy, but his presence here feels very convenient.
Yeah, by the look of him, I'd say he's as out of place as we are.
Hello? This is Lodi. Ms. Ray said you received my distress call. Ms. Ray asked that I contact the little Sputnik to work with you both on next steps.
Sputnik?
Is there something I should call you? Apart from Guardians, of course.
This is the Guardian. You can call them Guardian, thank you. I am called Ghost.
Pleasure to be working with you, Mr. Ghost. The Ionians are in less dire straits now, but if anything triggers the singularity, we risk losing the planetoid. Between a black hole on one side and the Archon on the other, the locals had no choice but to seal their settlement. They've been trying to track down that capsule you picked up for ages. Head to the big mechanism at the center of the village. The Ionians call it the Altar of Relativity.
Guardian, the trail we followed here to this planetoid is the strongest through that mechanism.
The singularity must be beyond there. Tamed thanks to the Ionians. If Drifter's right, the source of our invitation and the source of the singularity are one and the same. I think the Nine are here. Keep this to yourselves for the moment. Our top priority is stabilizing this planetoid. Unless the Nine plan to interfere, they're not a concern.
Lodi, we're at the altar.
Mr. Ghost, this is Lodi. Excellent. Go ahead and drink the contents.
Drink?
No, that can't be right. You do not want to do that. Say again, do not drink the dark matter in that container. Pour the contents into the mechanism. Hold on, I was provided a diagram. Guardian, Mr. Ghost, allow me to introduce you to Dean Rebecca, leader of the Ionians.
Dean Rebecca. I've never heard the name Dean. It's beautiful.
Well, the Ionians use this sort of academic hierarchy from what I can tell. And wait, you've never heard the title Dean before? Translating what I can, the Dean's honored to encounter the first new humans in centuries. She says the Ionians' deity, the thing they call the holy anomaly, is on the other side of the altar, threatened by the singularity. The capsule we put into the altar stabilizes rings of the lock to keep the singularity contained. It's a collection of dark matter she called a string.
Yes,